Welcome to my pretend cooking show where I have no filter and we use what we have and everything is gluten-free. I thought we'd try something different. Let's make dinner. We're gonna make things from stuff we have at home. Stuff kicking around the house, stuff that's totally normal for you to find at the grocery store. I suffered from being a perfectionist for a long time. I had to let that go. You're gonna see that in this video. This is a we use what we have dinner. And the reason why I embraced this style of cooking was because it's so much easier than having to plan out, note by note, everything that's in your recipe. Sometimes what you have on hand is good enough and it still tastes great. So let's make something homemade together. We're gonna make cabbage rolls. If you're new on your gluten-free journey, you might spend hours and hours and hours reading labels in the grocery store and be really tired. I understand you, it's part of our journey. Here's some things that you can do to make it easier. The things you're looking for on a label in Canada, the acronym is BROW bracket T, barley, rye, oats, wheat, or triticale. Oats are okay so long as they're certified gluten-free oats. It's a whole nother story. In Canada, gluten can't be hidden in labels and under weird names or things. I have an MSG allergy. Trust me, that thing can be called about a million different things. It's hard, but gluten is not something that we can bury in labels in Canada, so be very grateful for that. So rather than make a complicated sauce, we're gonna start with a basic grocery store sauce, a jar of pasta sauce. In this ingredients, I've looked. There's no brow tea, there's no may contains, we're safe and good to go. Classico used to say gluten-free right on the jar. It doesn't anymore. It's fine. It doesn't need to. There's no gluten-containing ingredients, so you're safe. We will, however, be jazzing up our sauce a little bit to make it a little bit more authentic. One of the things we're going to add is Worcestershire sauce. Now, Lee and Perrins is a no-no for us in Canada. In other parts of the world, they have a gluten-free version, but in Canada, typically, Lee and Perrins contains barley. So that's one of those ones you want to pitch from your fridge if you're newly diagnosed. This is a French's Worcestershire sauce. It says gluten-free right on the label. You can see this bottle is well loved because I made a lot of Chex Mix over Christmas and I put that stuff on everything. So we're going to make sure, it says gluten-free. We can trust the label that there's no brow tea in there. So you're good to go. Another hack that I've recently learned about cabbage rolls is to use your Instant Pot to steam your cabbage. I'm telling you, this is the way to go. Cut the core out of your cabbage, put it stem side down in your Instant Pot with a cup to 2 cups of water, depending on how big your cabbage is, and set that baby to high pressure for about 9 minutes. And bada bing, bada boom, you're gonna be able to peel those leaves right off and be good to go. Save yourself the time where you can. So I cheated before I started this video and I already put my rice on. Again, this is a we use what we have kind of dinner. Does this recipe typically call for white rice? Yes. Did I have a whole cup of white rice? No. So we're using mostly white rice and a little bit of brown rice. It'll be fine. It's buried in meat in a cabbage covered in sauce. Nobody's gonna know about it. Just use what you have. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some lean ground beef. This was on sale at Superstore this week. Thank you very much. And we're going to put this uncooked in a bowl. And we're going to start to add our ingredients from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to add about a half of a chopped white onion, just finely chopped. We're going to add 1 egg that we're just going to beat before we put it in the bowl. We're going to add our cooked rice, about a tablespoon of brown sugar, some of the aforementioned Worcestershire sauce, and then a little bit of seasoning, salt and pepper, and some delightful Italian style jar sprinkles that I found in the drawer. It's fine. We use what we have. It'll taste great. Okay, so here you can see I've got the ground beef from the package, nothing fancy. If you have ground pork on hand, use that. If you have both, deluxe, use them together. You get a really nice flavor profile. And ground pork, let's face it, is a little bit more affordable rather in Canada right now. So if you've got it, use it. To this, I'm gonna add my egg dish. I make a mess when I cook. The sink is my friend. I throw a lot of stuff in there and I deal with it later. It's a good thing. All I'm gonna do now is beat that egg Makes it a little easier to mix into my lovely bowl o' meat. And away she goes. Again, dish, sink. Normal people would probably, you know, put that in the dishwasher, save themselves a step. I've never claimed to be normal people. I have most of an onion. It's in a bag. It's left over from yesterday's dinner. Then we're just gonna chop this. Move so you can see. This is where I attempt to not cut my fingers off. If you're like me, this is your reminder to sharpen your knives. If you're so lucky to have a Canadian Tire near you, I can almost bet you dollars to donuts if you look in the flyer. There's a knife sharpener that's on sale if you don't have one. Never pay full price for a knife sharpener. They're always on sale at Canadian Tire. Shout out to the Canadian Tire in Cochrane, Alberta. It's maybe the best Canadian Tire I've ever been to. If you want to fight me about it, leave me a message in the comments. Tell me how great your Canadian Tire is. It's a Canadian institution. Okay, onion chop, garlic. Normally, I would chop the garlic, but I'm feeling like I don't want big pieces of garlic in this. Sometimes it's okay. This time, not so much. I think it's because I recently launched a new baguette on our Scone Pugs and Harmony page, and I ate basically a whole baguette covered in garlic to myself. I'm a little bit garlic out. If you don't have a garlic squisher, fancy term I know, just use a grater. It's fine. No one's gonna get mad. What I realized is we don't have to stress about all this stuff. You don't need a gadget for everything. If you've got something that grates cheese and also garlic, great, 2 for 1. Again, probably on sale at Canadian Tire. I almost forgot the rice. To your meat mixture, you want to add my combo of 2-tone rice. Add that in, mix it around. So that was a cup of uncooked rice, and you just make it as normal. If you want to add a little extra flavor and you got some spare broth taken around, make it with broth instead of water. If you don't, also fine. So all we're doing is mixing that cooked rice in with our meat, egg, milk, onion, garlic extravaganza. Mix that till combined, and this is what we're going to stuff the cabbage leaves with. Here I've got a big old dish. We're just going to mix up everything I added to that jar of sauce. And we're going to pour a little bit into the bottom of this dish just to loosely cover it. We don't want a big pile of soup in there, just enough so that your cabbage leaves have something to sit in. Okay, the reason why we want to do this ahead of time is because we're going to get into a very messy process here. I'm cheating. For the love of God, I cannot be bothered to peel layer by layer. So I've cut this baby in half. I'm pulling the leaves off. And then I will stuff them. And no one's going to know because we're going to roll it up, we're going to cover it in sauce, and we're not going to worry about it. It all tastes the same in here. It doesn't matter if it's pretty. We're not entertaining Gordon Ramsay and Martha Stewart. Without burning myself, hopefully. We're gonna peel out one of these beautiful cabbagey layers. And we're gonna put about 2 heaping tablespoons of our meat mixture in here. And then we're gonna roll it up. Rinse, repeat many times. Put them in the casserole dish as you go. I'll show you once we get there. Okay, everybody and extra meat is now in the pan. We're just gonna cover this with sauce. Easy peasy does it. Make sure you cover your bonus meat in sauce. Okay, cabbage rolls just came out of the oven. Let's take a look.